Rock it to me.
Oh yeah, Slim Harpo and Tip On In. Thank you, gentlemen. It's 9:03 Wednesday evening, and this is Arbitrary Habitats. Until midnight, I've got a special guest in the studio, James Grigsby of Totem fame. Hello, James.
How are you doing?
Very good.
I don't know if I can follow Slim Harpo. That's a tough one. Man,
we'll manage. I'm sure we'll manage.
Okay, well, do my best.
Okay, if you remember a few weeks ago, I had Emily Hay, flautist extraordinaire and vocalist for Totem and various other groups, and I managed to worm out of her James Grigsby's home phone number. And I got the courage up enough to give him a call, and he seemed more than willing to come down, and certainly he did, and here he is now on Wednesday evening right now. This is Arbitrary Habitats, KUCI 88.9FM in Irvine, California. And we're going to be covering James' history with Totem, Motor Totem Skilled, some involvement with 5UUs, recommended records, Wayside, all that stuff.
And some surprises later, too.
Boy.
Wow.
He brought in his own little DAT machine, so that's going to be good. It's going to be great quality stuff. And I encourage you to stay tuned. I encourage you to call in with questions or whatever. 582. What is it? 824-5824 is the new number. We just switched prefixes.
You better say that again, because I'm confused.
What was it? It used to be 856-5824, but now it's 824-5824. That's UCI, KUCI is the telephone number to call us here up at the station. Anyway, we got James Grigsby here. Totem has a new album. It's called Strange Attractors with Sanjay Kumar, correct me with name pronunciations, David Kerman, Eric Johnson, Emily Hay, James Grigsby, some gentleman named James Grigsby, and Steve Cade.
That's right.
100%. And your involvement with Totem is you're the primary composer and bass player.
On this CD, on our first CD, there were contributions from Dave Kerman and Sanjay Kumar. On this one, I'm the writer.
You're the writer.
So you can only blame me.
If we would never blame you for such music. Anyway, we're going to play a few tracks off of this. First three tracks. It's No Mo Ipan.
So far, so good.
Daikon Batake. Batake, sorry. And Ginger Tea.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the first three tracks off of Totem's latest, and this is on Cuneiform Records. Available through Wayside Music, mail order, or some local stores such as
Tower Records.
Oh, even Tower.
Yeah.
Oh.
If they don't have it, tell them to order it because it should be available to all Tower stores in the chain.
And what section would this be? Independent or just rock?
Often. I see it under rock. I've sometimes seen it under import, which is strange because it's not an import. But hey, they're wise people. They know what they're doing. So, but rock, I think, for want of a better category.
If not, just ask the girl at the counter.
Yeah.
Or whomever. Anyway, okay, so we're going to play some new music from Totem right now on 88.9 FM KUCI. This is Arbitrary Habitats. My name's Fred. James is with me. Stay tuned.
from the stereo pen.
Pretty cool, huh? We're freaking out. Oh, UCI will be sponsoring a program on Tuesday, November 8th, 1994, called Violence in Relationships, Physical and Psychological Dimensions. The objective is to educate the campus and the community through open discussion on the topic of violence and the options that are available for victims. Workshops will begin at 12:30 p.m. in Monarch Bay Rooms in the UCI Student Center. The event is free. For more information, please call the UCI Student Center at 714-856-7364. This message has been brought to you by ASUCI Student Activities and the Center for Women and Gender Education. In fact, that's the office that is in the same building as KUCI. Did you know that?
Of course not.
Well, now we do.
You're such a pro.
Isn't that something else? Okay, we are Arbitrary Habitats, and it's 9:18 Wednesday evening, and we're going to be here till midnight, hopefully. At least I will be. And I've got James Grigsby of Totem fame, composer, bass player, and we've been listening to the new one called Strange Attractors. We just heard three cuts, the first three cuts, No Mo Ipan, Daikon Batake, I did it again, Batake, and Ginger Tea was the last piece we heard.
That's right.
Okay. Hello, James. Thanks for coming down.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and kind of traipse through the new CD and do some analysis along the way. In fact, that's a call coming in right now, but we'll go ahead and ask them to wait a bit. Can you kind of give us some background on, is there like a cohesive story or a continuing story through the tracks?
Not necessarily in the order they're presented musically. The music is all related to a story which is printed in the booklet, the CD booklet, and each track relates to that story, although the track sequence on the record is more for musical sequencing than to go along with the story. Mm-hmm. So you may hear things in the story out of order. The third cut, for instance, is the first chapter of the story.
Okay, so then the story is incidental to the music as it's presented on the CD.
Yeah, although you can't really read along with the story while you're listening, but they are they're related, mm-hmm. and there are points of interplay between musical themes and what's going on in the story.
Uh-huh. Okay, can you kind of give us where are we now in the story? We've heard...
Okay. Well, in No Mo Ipan, we were in Tokyo in about 20 years in the future, in a pub, and there's a group playing sort of a electronic version of enka, the Japanese folk form. At the same time, someone from Texas is there telling his life story, and there's interaction between some of the other characters that's a little too detailed to go into. Mm-hmm. But the next piece, Daikon Batake, is the story of a virtual reality scenario involving a large radish garden and very small inhabitants of the radish garden, mm-hmm. including crickets. The third piece, Ginger Tea, is about in downtown LA, a chance encounter between an artist and a prostitute. Now, none of these seem to have any relation to each other, but that's sort of the way the story goes. There are various incidents that happen in different places and different times, and by the time you read the whole story, it all relates.
Kind of like a Thomas Pynchon novel.
If only I could aspire to Thomas Pynchon, but I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Well, it's very dense. It would make for entertaining reading.
I hope
Definitely,
so.
Yeah. So, and if you're not quite getting the story, you need to buy the CD then.
That's right.
And take it home and read it profusely. Anyway, we're going to go ahead with another three tracks. So shall we do the Trinity grouping?
That sounds good.
We'll do track 4, 5, and 6. That's Another June Sky, Karucha Shoku.
Very good. Yeah, that's a the way a Japanese person would pronounce the English words culture shock.
Oh, okay. And then the sixth piece, or the third piece in this grouping, is January Sky.
That's right. And the last two pieces, the words are directly from the story, so I think the listeners should be able to figure out the action.
Okay, great. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is Arbitrary Habitats, KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, California. I've got James Grigsby of Totem and various other Southern California bands and in the studio, and we're talking about his new CD, Strange Attractors, right now. If you stay tuned, we're going to go in through some of his older recordings and maybe some new pieces that haven't been released yet, so I urge you to stay tuned. Anyway, without further ado, this is Totem from Strange Attractors on Arbitrary Habitats.
architect hadn't gone well at all. Mayumi had brought the best of her new series of hollows, fine gradations of amber and sepia, a trick with even the latest of color processes. The texture of peeled rust transposed on every surface of any room. Her common sense told her that architect limited wouldn't go for his quiet and approaches cars. The company's biggest sellers last quarter were Hollow Makeup and Havoc Room. Still, she had to make a bid with someone, and Martha took a certain pride from the inappropriateness of her work as an economic venture.
After interview with a logo camcorder and a quick squeezing interview with an Andrew, Mayumi left her portal for Ivo, shrugged and walked back to the station. She needed some kind of distraction right away. Mayumi は渋谷駅でコーヒーを飲んだり、雑誌を買ったりしました。うちは目白駅のそばにあるから、北行きの山手線に乗りました。もちろんいつも通り電車は混んでいたけど、気になりませんでした。車掌が次は原宿といた時、mayumiは降りることにしました。買い物しよshe noticed it between a bloody crucifix lamb and a porcelain jet bottle, the most beatific countenance, skin and feathers carved in wood, an electric red skin, what an obscene juxtaposition. The prices in this store are outlandish, but it was just too divine to pass on.
Arthur was upset. She had been baptized. She had a soul that yearned for Jesus. She deserved a Christian burial. Chen and his family would have none of that. Arthur bent over the funeral urn. The smoke of incense seemed so pagan, gaudy, like Catholics.
Arthur, I feel much worse now. He's kicking up a storm.
Sit down, Sarah. We'll be home soon enough. Why do you say he?
I really think so.
Then it will be little Edison.
Imagine you're at a lake and a man has fallen in.
Right now, thousands of people are dying waiting for organ and tissue transplants.
You throw a rope.
If you've decided to be a donor, you must tell your family now so they can carry out your decision later.
The rope, the man can't reach it.
Otherwise, it's like throwing a 12-foot rope to someone who's 15 feet away. Organ and tissue donation. Share your life. Share your decision. To learn more, call 1-800-355-SHARE. This message brought to you by the Coalition on Donation and the Ad Council.
That last PSA was written by James Grigsby of Totem fame. I didn't know you were into that.
Actually, I do have donor on my driver's license.
Did you? There, so
that card had nothing to do with my creation.
it was kind of a weird association, kind of like a strange attractor, wouldn't you say?
Could be.
Could be. Anyway, this is Arbitrary Habitats, 9:37 Wednesday evening. My name's Fred. I'm going to be here till midnight. The show will be, at least. And we're playing new music from Totem. It's called Strange Attractors. And I've got James Grigsby, the gentleman that wrote the words and music to this new piece of media that's on CD. And it's available, it is on cuneiform, and it's available through Wayside. And you were mentioning that you wanted to give out the address to Wayside.
I'd love to. If
Let's
anyone's
do that.
interested in this music or a variety of musics, there's a catalog called Wayside. You can send away for a catalog, and it'll be sent to you for free. Get your pencils, get some paper. It's P.O. Box 8427, Silver Spring, Maryland. That's MD. And the zip is 20907-8427. That's Wayside Music. And Fred's taking a call right now on the air.
Okay, I had a little call there.
The personal call?
It was.
or-
Oh no. It was a caller calling in.
Oh, really?
Makes sense. I
A,
mean,
a warm body
a
out there
listener-
listening to this
A
nonsense.
listener calling. He probably wanted directions to the campus.
Oh, okay.
But I told him to call back a little later. Anyway, so that's Wayside Music. They, like James said, they'll send you a free catalog, and they have updates, I think, every 6 months. They have a green and a white catalog.
That's right.
And it's a great source for unusual music or music that is difficult to find locally at your large CD shop, notably Tower. But even though you can find the new Totem at Tower.
Yeah, Tower should stock it. If they don't have it, they can order it. And if you really can't find it anywhere else, I would I'd recommend Wayside catalog.
Yeah, because
for this and for many other things.
Right, you'll find much more in there, and it's a truly enlightening reading. Anyway, so the latest CD, Strange Attractors, we just got done listening to 3 other pieces. That was Another June Sky, Karucha Shoku, and January Sky was the last piece we heard.
That's right. That was the juxtaposition of a Buddhist funeral with a Southern Baptist hymnal.
There you go.
We mix them and match them.
That's right. It's kind of a Cage thing. He likes to do that.
It's a stylistic mishmash, goulash.
What's with the Asian influence, the Japanese influence? How's that? Why is that so pervasive in this work? Just because it's part of your life, or?
My wife is Japanese, which is one of the reasons I started to learn the language and started to write some music using some of the language, because it's good practice for me. It also fits into the story. Part of the story takes place in Tokyo, and part of it takes place in Taipei. Part of it takes place in Texas. Part of it in L.A.
Tokyo,
it's like
Taipei, Texas. It's alliteration traveling. Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. So one of the musical paradigms is, I guess, the channel surfing. I'm a product of television. I have a short attention span, so I tend to, when I write music, I change styles frequently. Often within a piece, there'll be references to 2 or 3 different styles of music. And in the lyrical material, there's also changes of style in writing and locale and characters corresponding to the musical changes.
Interesting. It's a nice approach.
It's the blender approach. Put it all in a mixer and see what comes out.
I'd like to talk about your history, or when did you start getting into music, or what was your childhood like? Tortured? No.
Well, I had a small. Early on, I had my own record player to play singles, and I had a green vinyl copy of the Teddy Bear's Picnic, which was dear to my heart. I had a little. On the top of the spindle, I had what looked like a circus carousel with mirrors. And some of the albums in those days, well, it's not albums, singles, had little figures actually printed into the vinyl, so that with this mirrored device you could display images, you could see the images moving on the mirrors.
Like a zoetrope, or?
I guess that would be the technical word for it, but it was a trip, man. Anyways, that was my first big musical influence. The second big musical influence was Spike Jones. I somehow, from the back pages of a famous Monsters magazine, I ordered
Warren magazines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, creepy, eerie, all that stuff.
You got it.
Okay.
You're born the same era that I was, obviously. But there was an ad for a Spike Jones record, who is, he's from the 40s and the 50s, so why would I be into him? But the music clicked for me, and he's, of course, another stylistic grab bag, and really sort of a precursor to groups like the Mothers of Invention and Bonzo Dog Band that I later started listening to.
Right, on a more mature level.
Yeah.
Yes. So all this was happening in Southern California.
That's where I grew up, yeah.
Right, and then when you were a teenager going into high school, what was your first instrument? Did you have like a grade school instrument or anything?
I played the trumpet and piano as a kid. I played in the school band, played trumpet. But pretty soon I knew that wasn't going to make it in garage band. So,
right, so that's...
I decided on the bass because I wanted to join a group and no one else played the bass. Everyone played guitar. So I figured, this is the way to do it. If I play the bass, I'm going to be in a group. So I played in garage bands for years and years. And actually at one point I tried to make a living as a professional musician. playing all up and down the coast in seedy clubs, playing in military bases, playing for weddings, all sorts of things.
The casual trip.
Yeah. And not really going anywhere doing that other than becoming a worse musician, I felt, for all of it. Meantime, collecting rejection slips from major recording companies. And so eventually I decided that I would take my inspiration from Charles Ives, the prototype of American composers, who was not a professional musician, who was in fact an insurance agent and is considered one of the greatest American composers. Unfortunately, in his day, he didn't have the ability to get much of his music played and wasn't able to hear it because he was writing scores. He didn't have computers to play it for him, and he didn't have independent record companies that would release his music, such as there are today.
So while you were going up and down the coast in these bands, you were playing music that everybody wanted to hear, popular music, dance music, or what have you, but then on the side you were cultivating this other style or involvement in music as on a more creative level, compositionally, and
we were a band that would play Fleetwood Mac songs or Wild Cherry songs out in public, and then the music we were recording was more akin to Gentle Giant or Henry Cow or Frank Zappa, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay, so the band had two faces.
It was very
It wasn't just you. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. At least you had some group support for
That's
other
right.
ventures. Yeah.
That's right.
So, okay, cool. This is so Totem is still now. There was a period of music or a genre of music called RIO. Do you relate to that at all?
This was something started in Europe by a number of groups as Rock in Opposition, and it was quasi-political. It relates to us only in that we were inspired by a lot of those groups, Stormy Six, Universe Zero, Art Zoid, Henry Cow, that sort of thing. I mean, maybe there's some
Sonic references.
Yeah, there's some similarities that people have pointed out in the music, although I don't think we're really part of that movement, and in fact that movement really doesn't exist anymore.
Interesting.
But it's a point of reference for a lot of people, so I don't have anything against it.
Right. Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Here at the station. So, if you're just tuning in, we have James Grigsby from Totem. His latest CD is called Strange Attractors. We're tracking through the whole thing for the first hour or so of Arbitrary Habitats, which is the show that you're listening to right now at 88.9 FM KUCI in Irvine, California. 9:47 Wednesday evening. I should let you know that the American Heart Association is urging Californians to vote no on Proposition 188. The AHA believes that the Uniform Tobacco Control Act is concerned with protecting the tobacco industry's profits. The AHA claims that Prop 188 will bring back smoking in public areas and postpone cities and counties, from forming firmer tobacco control. The tobacco industry says that Prop 188 will protect the public from cigarette-related illness and death. However, the AHA says that this will only encourage the problems of secondhand smoke. KUCI urges you to find out more about Prop 188. We may even talk about all the propositions later, James Grigsby and I, and put a certain spin on it. Who knows? And all the propositions for the upcoming election. And remember, that's next Tuesday, so you should be prepared to vote in an educated manner and read that little pamphlet. It's full of good information. Anyway, so this is KUCI. We're going to continue with Strange Attractors, Totem's latest CD. Right now we're going to play Purple Smoke, Tips 9/11, Agent White Fox, and in this grouping we will end with Chen's Gate.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, all this and more on Arbitrary Habitats.